Stolen from the horn of Africa, I am Israel, Israel. Abraham had a night vision of future prosperity. For stubborn disobedience and suffered the curse of captivity. 400 years my soul was the prophecy. Kidnapped from Africa, sold as a slave, but my home is in the east. Taken from the land of heaven, but I am Shem, I am Shem. Stolen from the horn of Africa, I am Israel, Israel. Taken from the land of heaven, but I am Shem, I am Shem. Stolen from the horn of Africa, I am Israel, Israel. Running out of Canaan's land like a deer from a hunter. Into the African bush, sold by my Israelite and Hamlet brothers. Jerusalem fell under siege from the perils of war. I was forced to flee, sought refuge from African shores. If I forget the old Jerusalem, let my right hand forget its honey. If I forget the old Jerusalem, let my tongue live to from my love. If I forsake thee, oh my Zion, oh, belong to my soul. If I forget you, should I keep from my journey?
Good evening, good evening. Sons and daughters of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, both spiritual and physical, here in Mobile, Alabama, and abroad. My name is Brother Griffin from the True Vine of Israel Bible class. If everybody will stand face to the east, women cover your heads, men uncover your heads. Praise ye the Lord, for he is good to sing praises unto our God, for it is pleasant, and praise is comely. The Lord doth build up Jerusalem. He gathered together the outcasts of Israel. He healeth the broken in heart, and bindeth up their wounds. He telleth the number of the stars. He calleth them all by their names. Great is our Lord, and of great power. His understanding is infinite. I've read Psalms 147, verse 1 through 5. May the Lord add a blessing to the reading and the hearing and the doing of his word. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. I'd like to say I'd like to thank everybody, for tuning in tonight and everybody that's showing up. So, this is election year, and I know the political landscape, sisters and brothers, is greatly shifting. Not only in the United States, but you also have a great wars and everything going on, even in Haiti, sisters and brothers. That's the most recent conflict. But sisters and brothers, we know that there are a lot of atrocities that's happening, and it's going to happen. It's only going to get worse, sisters and brothers. But it's going to become a time on this planet, sisters and brothers, that everything is going to be going on all over the world. It's going to be a time, sisters and brothers, that it was never a time before or ever shall be. And that time is called the Great Tribulation, sisters and brothers. But we're not going to talk about that tonight. We're probably going to touch on it just a little bit. But we will focus on this man, sisters and brothers, this king that nobody know who he is, sisters and brothers, right now. But the ones who have knowledge, sisters and brothers, they know. However, you don't hear about this man in your churches because the preacher don't preach about it. He don't teach you about it. Well, sisters and brothers, we're going to warn you about this guy. And we are talking about the abomination of desolation. The abomination of desolation is spoken of by Daniel the prophet. Now, that is the title, sisters and brothers, and we're going to pick this up in Matthew chapter 24. Matthew chapter 24. And we're going to start this at verse 1. Matthew 24. And we're going to start this at verse 1. Because the Lord, sisters and brothers, he was approached by his disciples. And his disciples asked him 3 questions. And we're going to focus on these questions tonight, sisters and brothers, to find out what is going on. Because a lot of people say, the Lord can come back at any time. Or I'll be glad when the Lord get back. There's just so much things happening. Well, sisters and brothers, you got to understand, certain things have to be in place before the Lord make his return. Certain things have to happen before the Lord make his return. And this, sisters and brothers, is one of the signs that the Lord left his disciples. But we're going to pick this up at verse 1. I'm going to ask Sister Gesh to read for me tonight. We're going to pick this up at verse 1. Go ahead.
And Jesus went out and departed from the temple, and his disciples came to him for to show him the buildings of the temple.
So they coming to show Jesus the buildings of the temple, sisters and brothers. Go ahead.
And Jesus said unto them, see ye not all these things? Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left here one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down.
So the Lord told him, look, don't worry about this temple, sisters and brothers. Don't worry about these buildings, because guess what? Not one stone is going to be left upon one another. In other words, Jerusalem is going to be destroyed, sisters and brothers, and this temple and everything going to be destroyed, flat. That happened in 70 AD when General Titus of Rome, sisters and brothers, came and sacked Jerusalem and leveled Jerusalem down to the ground, sisters and brothers, just like the Lord said. But go ahead.
And then as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, tell us when shall these things be, and what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world?
And that's what we want to know, sisters and brothers. When is it going to be an ending? Not only that, sisters and brothers, they asked him a 3-part question. First part saying, when these things shall be, or when the temple is going to get destroyed. What is going to be the sign of your coming? And what's going to be the sign of your coming and the end of the world? And the Lord specifically gave them an answer, sisters and brothers, but he gave them a warning before he gave them an answer. Keep going.
And Jesus answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you.
Take heed that no man deceive you. Go ahead.
For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many.
He ain't talking about these people out there on the corner, sisters and brothers, that's dragging this cross around, talking about, oh, I'm Christ, I'm God. No, he is talking about the people who's supposed to know about him, but they confess him with their mouth. He is talking about the preachers, sisters and brothers. He said the preachers. That is where the deception is going to come from. Go ahead.
And many false prophets shall rise and shall deceive many.
He said, for many false prophets shall rise and deceive many, sisters and brothers. Where are they? If you don't have the knowledge and understanding of God's words, you won't know who's false. But sisters and brothers, he said, many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. They're going to come to you and say, I rose from the dead. They're going to come to you and say that I was born of my mother without a father. They're going to tell you that. But then again, they're going to turn around and say that we going to heaven. That's a deception, sisters and brothers, because the Bible don't support that. But keep going. Go ahead.
14.
I'll skip down to verse 11 and go ahead. Verse 11.
And many false prophets shall rise and shall deceive many.
And many false prophets shall rise and deceive many. He said that twice, didn't he? But go on to 14 and go ahead and read.
And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come.
What gospel? What gospel is going to be preached around the whole nation, of all nations, sisters and brothers? Everybody, you would think that the gospel has been preached, sisters and brothers, but the gospel had not been preached over the world. Not the gospel of the kingdom coming to the earth. Not the gospel of who Israel is. Not the gospel that's saying that you are going to heaven. No, the gospel that's saying, remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy. Guys, Sabbath day is on a Saturday, not Sunday. That's the gospel that's going to be preached around the world. But keep reading.
When you therefore shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet, stand in the holy place, who shall read it, let him understand.
So if you need to understand some Old Testament. He said, if you read that, sisters and brothers, he said, he that read, you got to understand this, sisters and brothers. And there's a lot of people, you probably have not heard of the abomination of desolation. If you came out of anybody's church, you probably had not heard of the abomination of desolation. Who is this guy? And then guess what? If you call yourself a New Testament Christian, then you got a problem, don't you? Because we got to go back to Daniel the prophet to find out who this guy is. And he is important. He is an important figure. He's one of the main warnings that God gave you. And you mean to tell me that your pastor ain't telling you about this man? You got to understand who this man is, sisters and brothers. But keep reading.
Then let them which be in Judea flee into the mountains.
Because you're still going to have some people that's in Judea, sisters and brothers, all Jerusalem round about. He say, look, y'all need to run to the mountains when this guy come by. Go ahead.
Let him which is on the housetop not come down to take anything out of his house.
Just jump. I mean, if you're on top of the house, soon as your feet hit the ground, you gone. Go ahead.
Neither let him which is in the field return back to take his clothes.
Don't take no clothes with you. Because this guy going to bring some problems, sisters and brothers. Go ahead.
And woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days.
Yes, sisters and brothers, because if you got a newborn baby and you got and hey, what you gonna do? But go ahead and skip down to verse 21, because this is the reason, sisters and brothers, that you got to watch out for this guy and you got to know who he is. Go ahead.
For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no nor ever shall be.
So this is an important guy, sisters and brothers, to look out for. Why? Because as soon as he set up, then that's going to be the great tribulation. A time, sisters and brothers, what he say? It was not so since the beginning of the world to this time. You think of all the atrocities, all the murders, all the mass shootings that happened. This ain't nothing compared to this time, sisters and brothers, or ever shall be. But go ahead.
And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved, but for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened.
For the elect's sake, those days going to be shortened, sisters and brothers. What do you mean here? He's saying, look, everybody got nuclear weapons. Think about it. Look at the news. Everybody. North Korea got nuclear weapons. Russia, nuclear weapons. United States, nuclear weapons. Iran, everybody, all the countries got nuclear weapons, sisters and brothers. And I'm telling you, if one person hit the button and fire a nuclear warhead on another country, guess what? Everybody gonna start pushing buttons on everybody. Why? Next thing you know, you look up, there ain't gonna be a man in sight, sisters and brothers. This man will self-destruct. Right before they hit that button, sisters and brothers, that's when the Lord gonna come. And he gonna stop it. Because he made this earth to be inhabited. He did not make this earth to be destroyed. That's scripture. But he said, look, those days has to be shortened, sisters and brothers, because this man, and you have seen what this man can do. Even when I was stationed in Japan, sisters and brothers, and I went to Nagasaki and Hiroshima. And do you know you still have people embedded in the walls from the atom bomb that's been dropped? This thing is serious. But he said he got to cut those days short. A man will self-destruct. But let's go back into Daniel and find out who this guy is. Let's go back to Daniel and find out who this guy is. Daniel chapter 7. Daniel chapter 7, because the Bible is history, sisters and brothers. The Bible is history. History confirms the Bible. But the Bible is indeed history. And if you don't know history, sisters and brothers, then you're going to be lost. Daniel chapter 7. Daniel chapter 7, and we're going to pick this up at verse 1. Daniel chapter 7. And we're going to pick it up at verse 1. All right, go ahead.
In the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, Daniel had a dream and vision of his head upon his bed.
This is the Nebuchadnezzar's son. But go ahead.
Then he wrote the dream and told the sum of the matters. Daniel spake and said, I saw in my vision by night, and behold, the four winds of the heaven strove upon the great sea.
Go ahead.
And four great beasts came up from the sea, diverse from one another.
Uh-huh.
The first was like a lion and had an eagle's wings. I beheld till the wings thereof were plucked, and it was lifted up from the earth and made stand upon the feet as a man. And a man's heart was given to it.
And it's the Babylonian Empire, sisters and brothers. The Babylonian Empire headed by Nebuchadnezzar. Nebuchadnezzar, sisters and brothers, ran everything on the planet. Why? Because the Lord gave him that. The Lord gave him that, sisters and brothers. And it went to his head. It went to his head. He started getting boastful and proud like he did it. That's what it means. A man's heart or a man's mind was given to it. But go ahead.
And behold, another beast, the second, like to a bear, and it raised up itself on one side, and it had ribs in the mouth of it, between the teeth of it. And they said thus unto it, Arise, devour much flesh.
You got the Medes and the Persians, sisters and brothers, that took over the world after the Babylonian Empire. This stuff is ran down just like it is in history, sisters and brothers. It started out with Babylon. Then after Babylon, the Medo-Persians took over. And who the Medo-Persians? The Russians and the Iranians today. And they still together. They still allies. But go ahead.
After this I beheld, and lo, another like a leopard, which had upon the back of it four wings of a fowl. The beast had also four heads, and dominion was given to it.
Now you got the Greek Empire, sisters and brothers, headed by Alexander the Great. Alexander the Great died at a young age, sisters and brothers. So therefore, his kingdom was split into four parts and given to his four generals. That is the four heads on the leopard. But find out in history, sisters and brothers, but keep on reading.
After this, I saw in the night visions, and behold, a fourth beast, dreadful and terrible, and strong exceedingly, and it had great iron teeth. It devoured and brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with the feet of it, and that was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns.
It had 10 horns, sisters and brothers, and this is none other than the Roman Empire. He said he did not even have a beast on this planet that looks like this thing. He just called it an evil beast. That's all he did. That is the Roman Empire. The Roman Empire took over the world from the Greeks, sisters and brothers. So we are living in the Roman time, and these 10 horns, this kingdom, this Roman Empire is supposed to rise and fall 10 times. Rise and fall 10 times, sisters and brothers. But keep reading.
I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn, before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots. And behold, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of man, and a mouth speaking great things.
So this horn, sisters and brothers, we got to talk about this horn. This horn replaced 3 of the little horns, sisters and brothers. Three of the horns. Why? Because they did not go along with who? The Pope. Who is this little horn? It is the Pope, sisters and brothers. The Pope uprooted the three barbaric tribes, the three last barbaric tribes, was the Ostrogoths, Herulians, and the Vandals. Nobody, they are wiped off the map, sisters and brothers. He ethnic cleansed them. Nobody can call and say, well, I'm a Vandal. Why? Because their lineage was cut off by the Pope. They were the only three tribes that did not want to go along with the Pope's program. The Pope started this thing called Christianity. Not the Christianity of the Bible, sisters and brothers, but the Christianity that they made up. But this little horn, sisters and brothers, he replaced these three horns. And then he had a mouth speaking great things. And when I say great things, sisters and brothers, I'm not talking about he is uplifting the Lord. No, he's not uplifting the Lord, sisters and brothers. He is talking down about the Lord. And we're going to see that. But keep going.
I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the ancient days did sit, whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head like pure wool.
Go ahead.
His throne was like a fiery flame, and his wheels as burning fire.
And this is the Lord, sisters and brothers. This is Jesus. You got two ancients of days. The Father, he is the ancient of days as well. But this ancient of days, sisters and brothers, is the Son of Man, which is the Lord himself, sisters and brothers. This Jesus. He is the ancient of days. Go ahead.
A fiery stream issued and came forth from him. Thousand ministered unto him, and 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him. The judgment was said, and the books were opened.
That sounds like the judgment, ain't it? So the Roman Empire is going to be in rulership, sisters and brothers, till the Lord comes. They are going to be in rulership. The Lord is going to take the Roman Empire out, and he is going to establish his kingdom. Notice nobody went to heaven, didn't it? We're going to keep reading. Go ahead.
I beheld then because of the voice of the great words which the horn spake. I beheld even till the beast was slain and his body destroyed and given to the burning flame.
The Lord, I'm telling you, they're going to be so bad. These two cats going to be so bad that the Lord is going to just throw them directly in the fire. They ain't even going to stand in judgment. He's going to get the beast and the false prophet and throw them in the lake of fire. Just like that. On his way down. Go ahead.
As concerning the rest of the beasts, they had their dominion taken away, yet their lives were prolonged for a season and a time.
Their lives was prolonged for a season and a time, sisters and brothers. Why? Because all the other kingdoms, they died, sisters and brothers. They had their time. The Babylonians had their time. The Medo-Persians had their time. The Greeks had their time. The only one left, sisters and brothers, is the Roman Empire. But go ahead.
I saw in the night visions, and behold, one like the Son of Man came with clouds of heaven, and came to the Ancient of Days, and they brought him near before him. And there was given him dominion and glory and a kingdom that all people, nations, and languages should serve him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion which shall not pass away, and his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed.
In John chapter 12, it tells you that, sisters and brothers, his kingdom is not going to be destroyed. It's not going to be destroyed like those four kingdoms those before. But go ahead.
I, Daniel, was grieved in my spirit in the midst of my body, and the visions of my head troubled me. I came near unto one of them that stood by and asked him the truth of all this. So he told me and made me know the interpretation of the things. These great beasts, which are four kings which shall rise out of the earth. Four kings or four kingdoms, they're going to rise out the earth. Go ahead. But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever. Ain't that the saints are going to take the kingdom, sisters and brothers? These are the ones that's going to be in the first resurrection. They are going to take the kingdom. Go ahead. Then I will know the truth of the fourth beast, which was diverse from all others, exceeding dreadful, whose teeth were of iron, his nails of brass, which devoured, break in pieces, and stamped the residue with his feet. And of the 10 horns that were in his head, and of the other which came up, and before whom 3 fell, even of that horn that had eyes, and a mouth that spake very great things, whose look was more stout than his fellows.
Talking about the papacy, sisters and brothers, the Pope. But keep going.
I beheld, and the same horn made war with the saints and prevailed against them.
So this same horn, he made war with the saints, sisters and brothers. He's going to make war with the saints, even during the time of the Great Tribulation. He is going to make war with the saints. So therefore, you ain't going to get raptured off. Why? Because if you're a saint, sisters and brothers, guess what? This guy, you're going to have to face him. Go ahead.
Until the Ancient of Days came and judgment was given to the saints of the Most High, and a time came that the saints possessed the kingdom.
The saints possess the kingdom, sisters and brothers. Go ahead.
Thus he said, the fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom upon earth, which shall be diverse from all kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, and shall tread it down and break it in pieces.
So that's why the Roman Empire was so bad, sisters and brothers. Why? Because it will destroy you physically and it will destroy you spiritually. Out of Rome, that's where you get going to heaven from. Out of Rome, that's where you get saved by grace only. Out of Rome, you can eat anything you want to. Out of Rome came Easter. Out of Rome came Lent. They made up their own little thing, sisters and brothers, that is not in the Bible. That's why Rome is so bad, sisters and brothers, because guess what? It can not only kill you physically, but it can end up putting you in the fire for the rest of your life, sisters and brothers. That's eternal life in the lake of fire. Because why? You are going up under their religious system. And you can call yourself a denomination, and you can call yourself a non-denominational. You can call yourself a Muslim, you can call yourself a Taoist or a Hindu. But guess what, sisters and brothers? It all falls under the same umbrella. It does. But let's keep going. Let's go to Daniel chapter 2 and read another dream, sisters and brothers. And it's the same dream, but it's a statue this time. Daniel chapter 2. Daniel chapter 2. Now you can see if you don't have no knowledge, sisters and brothers, then you lost. Then guess what? The Lord can come at any time, sisters and brothers, to you. But if you go by what he left here in this Bible, sisters and brothers, that's why your knowledge is going to save you. Pick this up at verse 1 and go ahead.
And the second year of the reign of Nebuchadnezzar dreamed dreams wherewith his spirit was troubled, and his sleep brake from it. Then the king commanded to call the magicians and the astrologers and the sorcerers and the Chaldeans for to show the king his dreams. So they came and stood before the king.
Go ahead.
And the king said unto them, I have dreamed a dream, and my spirit was troubled to know the dream.
Go ahead.
Then spake the Chaldeans to the king in Syriac, O king, live forever. Tell thy servants the dream, and we will show the interpretation.
Go ahead.
The king answered and said to the Chaldeans, the thing is gone from me. If ye will not make known unto me the dream with the interpretation thereof, ye shall be cut in pieces, and your houses shall be made a dunghill.
A dunghill, sisters and brothers. You know, the outhouse.
But if ye show the dream.
Hold on. Skip down to verse 16 and go ahead. Because the thing is, sisters and brothers, no Chaldeans and no astrologers or magicians, they cannot tell him his dream. Why? Because he forgot it. If somebody say, man, I have a dream, tell me your dream. I forgot it. But you got to come up with it, and you got to give me an interpretation. So they was like, look, we can't do that. Only the gods could do that. Then next thing you know, he got mad. Nebuchadnezzar got mad, and he was getting ready to destroy all the wise men in the land, sisters and brothers. And guess what? Daniel and his cohorts was wise men, sisters and brothers, and he was going to come down and he was going to kill them too, kill all the wise men. But skip down to verse 16. And now Daniel finna come into the picture, and he going to interpret the dream. But go ahead.
Then Daniel went in and desired of the king that he would give him time, and that he would show the king the interpretation. Then Daniel went to his house and made the thing known to Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, his companions.
His companions. That's what their real names were, sisters and brothers. Their real name. But then again, when you go into captivity, they're going to change your name, just like they changed our name. We went into captivity. Jones, Robinson, Portier. They did the same thing, It was their original name. But then again, their names was given to them, Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego. But go ahead.
That they would desire mercies of God, of the God of heaven concerning this secret, that Daniel and his fellows should not perish with the rest of the wise men of Babylon.
Go ahead.
Then was the secret revealed unto Daniel in a night vision. Then Daniel blessed the God of heaven. Daniel answered and said, Blessed be the name of God forever and ever. For wisdom and might are his.
Go ahead.
And he changed the times and the seasons. He removeth kings and setteth up kings. He giveth wisdom to the wise and knowledge to them that know understanding.
Thank God, sisters and brothers, and he do. But he changed times and the seasons. Guess what? He removed kings and he set them up, sisters and brothers, not the voters. He does it. But let's keep going. Skip down to verse 31 and go ahead. Now he finna put interpretation on this thing. Go ahead.
Thou, king, sawest, and behold, a great image. This great image, whose brightness was excellent, stood before thee, and the form thereof was terrible.
It was a tall statue. Go ahead.
This image head was of fine gold, his breast and his arms of silver, his belly and his thighs of brass, his legs of iron, his feet part of iron and part of clay. Thou sawest till that a stone was cut out without hands, which smote the image upon his feet, that were of iron and clay, and break them to pieces.
Go ahead.
Then was the iron, the clay, the brass, the silver, and the gold broken into pieces together, and became like the chaff of the summer threshing floors, and wind carried them away, that no place was found for them. And the stone that smote the image became a great mountain and filled the whole earth. See,
the chaff of the summer threshing floors. You know, chaff is the part of the wheat that you don't need. You know, they used to get on the threshing floor, and they used to beat the wheat, and they used to separate the wheat from the chaff. So now that's the threshing floor, sisters and brothers. So just like it just carried them away like the summer threshing floors. But keep going.
This is a dream, and we will tell the interpretation thereof before the king. Thou, king, art a king of kings, for the God of heaven has given thee a kingdom, power, and strength, and glory.
The God of heaven did that. Go ahead.
And wheresoever the children of men dwell, the beasts of the field and the fowls of the heaven hath he given unto thy hand, and hath made thee rule over them all. Thou art his head of gold.
Thou art this head of gold, Nebuchadnezzar, because the God gave you everything. He gave it to you all, sisters and brothers. But go ahead.
And after thee shall rise another kingdom inferior to thee, and a third kingdom of brass, which shall bear rule over all the earth. And the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron. For as much as iron breaketh in pieces and subdueth all things, and as iron that breaketh all pieces, shall it break in pieces and bruise. And whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of the potter's clay and part of the iron, and the kingdom shall be divided. But there shall be in it of the strength of the iron, for as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay.
Go ahead.
And as the toes of the feet were part of the iron and part of the clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken. And whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seeds of men, but they shall not cleave to one another, even as iron is not mixed with clay.
Go ahead.
And in the days of these kings shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom.
In the days of these kings. What kings? The 10 toes, sisters and brothers, the 10 toes of the statue. the 10 toes. In the days of these kings, what shall God of heaven set up a kingdom? Go ahead.
which shall never be destroyed, and the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
For as much as thou sawest that the stone was cut out of the mountain without hands, and that it breaks in pieces the iron and the brass, the clay, the silver, the gold, the great God has made known to the king what shall come to pass hereafter. And the dream is certain, and the interpretation thereof sure.
And the interpretation thereof is sure, sister. This thing is going to happen. Just like there was a Nebuchadnezzar, Medo-Persia, Greece, and Rome, there is going to be the God of heaven is going to set up a kingdom, sisters and brothers, that shall not end. And this stone that was cut out without hands is Jesus, sisters and brothers. He's going to come and he is going to knock this whole Gentile dynasty down, sisters and brothers. And he hit it on the foot and he hit it on the head. Why? Because the head is dead. It's history. But he is coming and hit it on the feet. And the whole system is going to fall down. The whole system is going to fall down. And he is going to put up his kingdom that shall not be destroyed. But he said in the days of these kings, sisters and brothers, and we're going to read these kings. Who are these kings? We look them at the European Economic Community, the European Union. That's the 10 kings that the Lord is going to take out. And we're going to read a clip in here to show you that it's 10 nations, sisters and brothers, over there. However, let's keep going. Let's go to Daniel chapter 8. Daniel chapter 8. Because this man, sisters and brothers, we got to run him down. Where he come from. Daniel chapter 8. And there was a war. And this war is between the Medes and the Persians, or the Medo-Persians, and the Greek Empire, sisters and brothers. Daniel chapter 8. And we're going to pick this up at verse 1. Daniel chapter 8 and verse 1. Like I said, I hope y'all got your Bibles, because we do read. Pick it up at verse 1 and go ahead.
In the 3rd year of the reign of King Belshazzar, a vision appeared unto me, even unto me, Daniel, after that which appeared unto me at the first. And I saw in a vision, and it came to pass when I saw that I was at Shushan in the palace, which is in the province of Elam, and I saw a vision, and I was by the river of Ulai.
Go ahead.
Then I lifted up my eyes and saw, and behold, there stood before the river a ram which had 2 horns. The 2 horns were high, but one was higher than the other, and the higher came up last. I saw the ram pushing westward and northward and southward, and that no beast might stand before him, neither was there any that could deliver out of his hand. But he did according to his will and became great. And as I was considering, behold, and he goat came from the west on the face of the whole earth, and touched not the ground, and the goat had a notable horn between his eyes. And he came to the ram that had 2 horns, which had seen standing by the river, before the river, and ran into him in the fury of his power.
Go ahead.
And I saw him come closer to the ram, and he was moved with choler against him, and smote the ram, and brake his 2 horns, and there was no power in the ram to stand before him, but he cast him down to the ground and stepped upon him, and there was none that could deliver the ram out of his hand.
So this is the war, sisters, between the Medes and the Persians. The goat that had the 2 horns, one higher than the other, those were the Medes and the Persians, sisters and brothers. The Mede is the short horn, but the Persians came up into the tall horn. The Persians, they overtook the Medes, sisters and brothers. So it was the Persian Empire. We know about the Persian Empire. They made a movie about it, 300. So you know about the Persian Empire, sisters and brothers. So this other he-goat came so quick that Alexander the Great, the first king, sisters and brothers, the notable horn in the middle of his eyes. But guess what? He defeated the Persians, sisters and brothers. He defeated the Persians. Go ahead.
Therefore, the he goat waxed very great, and when he was strong, the great horn was broken, and for it came up four notable ones towards the four winds of heaven.
That's Alexander the Great. So when Alexander the Great died, sisters and brothers, those four horns was on the goat head. Those are his four generals that took over after him because he did not have a successor. But go ahead.
And out of one of them came forth a little horn which waxed exceedingly great towards the south and towards the east and towards the pleasant land. And it waxed great, even to the host of heavens, and it cast down some of the hosts and some of the stars to the ground and stamped upon them.
See, these stars to the ground, he didn't know. He didn't go up there and go into space and start stomping on stars, sisters and brothers. Now, these stars are the saints. He stumped down the saints. The ones that is doing this thing right. Paul, Peter, all he stamped on them, and he gonna stomp on some more saints, sisters and brothers, when he come into power. But this little horn, sisters and brothers, it came from the western half of the empire. It came from the western half of the empire. But go ahead.
Yeah, he magnified himself even to the prince of the host, and by him the daily sacrifice was taken away, and the place of his sanctuary was cast down.
See, they're gonna start sacrificing animals, sisters and brothers. The person over there that call themselves Jews, they're gonna start sacrificing animals in this third temple, and he gonna go over with a host. He gonna go over and he gonna stop the daily sacrifice, sisters and brothers, that they started, and that's when he gonna go into the temple, sisters and brothers. But keep on going.
And a host was given to him against the daily sacrifice by reason of transgression, and it cast down the truth to the ground, and it practiced and prospered.
He cast down the truth to the ground, sisters and brothers. What do you mean by that? The Lord say that he gonna establish his kingdom on earth. But this man said, no, you going to heaven. You're gonna get raptured off. The Lord say, look, these are the beasts you should eat. These are the beasts you should not eat. This man say, no, you can eat anything as long as you pray over it. The Bible tells you that the Lord resurrected at the end of the Sabbath day, as it was dawning toward the first day of the week. But this man comes, not only he said that the Sabbath day is on a Sunday, but he said the Lord resurrected on a Sunday. That's not supported in the scripture, sisters and brothers. So this man has cast down the truth to the ground, and he's still doing it today. Go ahead.
Then I heard one saint speaking, and another saint said unto that certain saint which spake, how long shall be the vision concerning the daily sacrifice and the transgressions of desolation, to give both the sanctuary and the host to be trodden underfoot?
Go ahead.
And he said unto me, unto 2,300 days, then shall the sanctuary be clean.
2,300 days, sisters and brothers. That's another lesson. However, it's 1,260 days, sisters and brothers, that it's going to be the Great Tribulation. And then you take that away from 2,300, and then you're going to find out how long they're going to be doing a daily sacrifice, sisters and brothers, before he come over there and stop it. But keep going.
And it came to pass when I, Daniel, had seen the vision and sought for the meaning. Then behold, there stood before me as appearance of a man. And I heard a man's voice between the banks of Ulai, which called and said, Gabriel, make this man to understand the vision.
Gabriel, yes, it's the same Gabriel that came to Mary and said, you're going to have a son, call him Jesus. He is the guy that took over when Satan got cast out of heaven. He took Satan's spot, sisters and brothers. Satan was Lucifer, which is the light bringer. But when he turned and got kicked out, then Gabriel became what? The light bringer. So therefore, he brings the message. Go ahead.
So he came near where I stood, and when he came, I was afraid and fell upon my face. But he said unto me, understand, O son of man, for at the time of the end shall be the vision.
At the time of the end, sisters and brothers, shall be the vision. Skip down to verse 20 and go ahead.
The ram which thou sawest having two horns are the kings of the Media and the Persia.
The Medes and the Persians, sisters and brothers, the Russians and the Iranians, and they still together today. They still allies, just like they were then. But go ahead.
And the rough goat is the king of Grecia, and the great horn is that between his eyes is the first king.
The Alexander the Great, sisters and brothers, His daddy was Philip the Barbarian. He was king of Macedonia. He got assassinated. Then Alexander assassinated the person that assassinated his daddy. Then guess what? He brought it to the great Greek empire that it was, sisters and brothers. But he is the king of Grecia. But go ahead.
Now that being broken, whereas four stood up for it, four kingdoms shall stand up out of the nation, but not in his power. And in the latter time of their kingdom, when the transgressors are come to the full, a king of fierce countenance and understanding, dark sentences shall stand up.
How is he going to understand dark sentences, sisters and brothers? That's not black magic or anything like that. It's dark sentences because the world don't know, sisters and brothers, as a whole. They don't know what's going down. But this guy, he knows, sisters and brothers. He knows that he is going to get taken out by the Lord. He knows this, but he's not going to let you know it. The Pope know he's going down. He ain't going to let you know it. He understands dark sentences. That's why the Lord is just going to take him and throw him straight in the lake of fire. He ain't was going to have a chance to even plead his cause. But he said, look, he is a king, sisters and brothers. He is a king. He is a king. Vatican City is a country within a city. He got his own little country, sisters and brothers. He is a king. But let's read about it. Let's go to Revelation chapter 6. Revelation chapter 6. Revelation chapter 6, and we're going to pick this up at verse 1. This is the four horsemen of Revelation, sisters and brothers, the four horsemen. And the four horsemen, that encompasses 3.5 years or 42 months of great tribulation. And this is what's going to be happening on this planet. Pick this up at verse 1, Revelations chapter 6. And we're going to pick this up at verse 1. All right, go ahead.
And I saw when the Lamb opened one of the seals, and I heard as it were the noise of thunder, one of the four beasts saying, come and see. And I saw and behold a white horse, and he that sat on him had a bow, and a crown was given unto him, and he went forth conquering and to conquer.
He went forth making war, sisters and brothers. He had to come in on a white horse. He got to look like he is godly. He got to look like he coming in peace. But he is going to be destroying a lot of people, sisters and brothers. And this is the Abomination of Desolation. This is the white horse. But go ahead.
And when he had opened the second seal, I heard the second beast say, come and see. And there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth. And they that should kill one another, and there was given unto him a great sword.
That's war, sisters and brothers. Anytime you conquer, you're going to have some war. You're going to have some war, sisters and brothers. So this is going to take away peace from the earth. But go ahead.
And when he had opened the third seal, I heard the third beast say, come and see. And I beheld, and lo, a black horse, and he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand.
Go ahead.
And I heard a voice in the midst of the fourth beast say, a measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny. And see thou hurt not the oil and the wine.
That is a controlled famine, sisters and brothers. I mean a bad controlled famine. That means that you got a lot of food in storage. But guess what? You going to control who gets what. And in order to get that, sisters and brothers, what he going to do? He's going to institute a mark. And you're going to have to take a mark in your right hand or your forehead. In your right hand on your forehead. Y'all did this probably a couple of weeks ago. Lent. That is preparing you for the mark of the beast, sisters and brothers. Why? Because they put that smut right there in your middle of your head, or they put it right there in your hand. Why it can't be the left hand? Why it can't be the left palm? No, it don't work like that. They are programming you to take this mark. But go ahead.
And when he had opened the fourth seal, I heard the voice of the fourth beast say, come and see. And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed with him. And power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth to kill with sword and hunger and with death and with the beasts of the earth.
He is going to be killing at will, sisters and brothers. That's what he's talking about. He is going to be killing at will. And hell, which is the grave, is going to be following behind. Why? Because he's going to be filling a whole lot of graves. Sisters and brothers. This man is going to be killing at will. So y'all don't understand what Pope do. I mean, look at history. Look at the history, sisters and brothers. If you did not go along with this new Christianity religion that this Pope was putting down, they killed you. I mean, just straight killed you. So he is a king, sisters and brothers, and he forced this religion when he was new. Constantine, all the early Christians, or so-called Christians, they imposed or they inflicted this religion. That's where you get the Spanish Inquisitions from. They're telling you to recant. They doing all kind of torture methods, telling you to recant and come up under the leadership of the Pope and go along with his program. He did a lot of killing, sisters and brothers, and he's going to do a lot of killing again. I don't know this guy. Look at the news. He going over there to Russia talking about some peace. Now, that made Ukraine mad, because now you jumping sides. But no, sisters and brothers, he want to make peace with Russia. Why? Because during this time, this is what's going to lead up to the War of Armageddon. That's another lesson. But that's what's going to lead up to the War of Armageddon, because why? Pope want Russia to come up under their umbrella in the West. And Russia ain't having it. However, sisters and brothers, that's another lesson. But that's what he's doing. But anyway, let's go further. Let's go to, I have a Britannica Online. Britannica Online. It's called Western Europe. Western European Union. I got it online on Britannica Online Encyclopedia. He said Western European Union, former association of 10 countries, Belgium, France, Germany, Greece, Italy, Luxembourg, the Netherlands, Portugal, Spain, and the United Kingdom, that operated as a forum for the coordination of matters of European security and defense. That's their military, sisters and brothers. He said it contributed to the creation of the NATO, which is North Atlantic Treaty Organization, and worked in cooperation with that organization. The Western European Union became the primary defense institution of the European Union in the 1990s, sisters and brothers. You have over 30-some countries. That's over 30-some armies, sisters and brothers, that's going to be headed by these 10 nations. And there's one man, which is the beast, which is the prime minister, the czar of Brussels. He is going to be in charge of all them, sisters and brothers. That is the beast. So you see how airtight the scriptures are, sisters and brothers. History confirms the scriptures. That's why the Lord say, look, he that reads, let him understand. The abomination of desolation that's spoken of by Daniel the prophet. So you got to go to Daniel. You got to understand who this man is, sisters and brothers, because he's coming out of Europe. A lot of people talking about it's Donald Trump. Sisters and brothers, United States, Donald Trump, they ain't much in history. They're not even much in history. They're not even much in prophecy. We don't know what the United States is going to be during the Great Tribulation. We don't know whether they're going to be on Russia's side. We don't know whether they're going to be on the kings of the east side. We just don't know. However, Donald Trump is not what they call it, the Antichrist or whatever. You got many Antichrists. You're going to only have one abomination of desolation, sisters and brothers. And he's going to be killing at will. But let's keep going. Let's go to Daniel chapter 11. Daniel chapter 11. Because this guy is going to have a big army, sisters and brothers. And he ain't going to go into Jerusalem peacefully. These people who call themselves Jews, sisters and brothers, they're not going to receive this guy. So he's going to have to go, and he's going to have to forcefully go in that third temple, that building over there, and he's going to call himself God, sisters and brothers. That's his prophecy. When you see the Pope go over to Jerusalem and go into that third temple they're building over there, guess what? Everybody going to be like, oh, Jesus is back now. Oh, he is in the temple. Oh, it's peace in the Middle East now. You got to read the Bible, sisters and brothers, because this thing is for sure, and it's going to happen. Pick it up at verse 31. Go ahead.
And arms shall stand on his part, and they shall pollute the sanctuary of strength, and shall take away the daily sacrifice, and they shall place the abomination that maketh desolate.
And they're going to place the abomination that maketh desolate. They're going to place the Pope in there, his army. But go ahead.
And such as do wickedly against the covenant shall he corrupt by flatteries, but the people that do know their God shall be strong and do exploits.
See, all the weak people, they're going to turn their back on the covenant, sisters and brothers. What am I saying? These people, they know the truth. These people know the truth. But this man, he going to go up and they probably say, oh, yeah, y'all are truly the people of God. Oh, yeah, y'all the people of God, or whatever. And he going to flatter them, and he going to, next thing you know, they're going to join right on over with him. That's why I'm saying you got to study, sisters and brothers. You got to be in this word. So you'll be strong and do exploits, because you know who this man is. And you know, sisters and brothers, that the end of all of it is eternal life. And the end of it is not financial prosperity, what they're teaching right now, sisters and brothers. Because 9 times out of 10, if you're looking for some money out the deal, and you talking about something you want to be prosperous and living prosperous and all, yeah, you're going to fall for it. He gonna win you right on over to his side. But go ahead.
And they that understand among the people shall instruct many, yet they shall fall by the sword and by the flame, by captivity, and spoil many days.
Yeah, you're gonna have some people out there, sisters and brothers, if they miss the chance of going to the place of safety, if they miss that chance, sisters and brothers, guess what? They're gonna be out there teaching what thus saith the Lord. But guess what? They're gonna be going to jail. They're gonna get beat down in the street. They're gonna be getting killed, because this man, he already is going to try to enforce this Sunday law, sisters and brothers. You got to worship on a Sunday. But the people who do know their God, those who do know their God, sisters and brothers, we're going to stand tall. And we still going to be teaching against it. Go ahead.
Now when they shall fall, they shall be hoping with a little help, but many shall cleave to them with flattery.
Go ahead.
And some of them shall understand, and some of them understanding shall fall, to try them and to purge and to make them white, even to the time of the end, because it is yet for a time appointed.
It's yet for a time appointed, sisters and brothers. All this killing. You're going to have brothers out there teaching. We're going to find out who the real teachers are, sisters and brothers, or who the real servants of the Lord, sisters and brothers, because you have not resisted unto death yet. You have not resisted unto death, striving against sin. That's what Paul said. But at this time, sisters and brothers, at this time, the time of the great tribulation, we're going to find out who's real and who's not. Go ahead.
And the king shall do according to his will, and he shall exalt himself and magnify himself above every god, and shall speak marvelous things against the God of gods, and shall prosper till the indignation be accomplished, for that is determined shall be done.
Go ahead.
Neither shall he regard the God of his fathers, nor the desire of women, nor regard any God, for he shall magnify himself above all.
He is the only one, sisters and brothers, talking, oh yeah, you want to be a priest, you can't have no wife. But the Lord told you, be fruitful and multiply. But he telling his priests, you can't have no wives. Let's go and read about this guy again, sisters and brothers. Let's go to Revelation 13. Revelation chapter 13. Revelation chapter 13. That's why I'll say the more you get into this Bible, sisters and brothers, the more your faith becomes strong. The stronger your faith is. The more you know, the more you understand, the stronger your faith gets. And your faith is going to have to be strong, sisters and brothers. You got to pray to the Lord that your faith don't fail you. Because if you see somebody teaching and speaking what thus said the Lord, and you see them get their head chopped off, and the person going to look up to you, so you still want to believe that stuff he's talking about? What you going to do? Pick us up at verse 1. Revelation 13 and verse 1, and go ahead.
And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his head the names of blasphemy. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power and his seat, his great authority. This
is the revived Roman Empire, sisters and brothers. This is the European Union. Go ahead.
And I saw one of his heads, and he was wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast.
All the world marveled after the beast, sisters and brothers. And you marveling, sisters and brothers. You marveling. You got a tree decorated for every holiday that this man gave you. But go ahead.
And they worshiped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast, and they worshiped the beast, saying, Who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him?
You worship the beast every Sunday. Sunday praise and worship. You are praising this man. Go ahead.
And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue 42 months.
How long? 42 months. 3.5 years. There is no 7-year tribulation, sisters and brothers. That is a recipe for the lake of fire. 7 years of tribulation, sisters and brothers. No, it's 3.5 year tribulation. Go ahead.
And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against God, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle and them that dwell in heaven.
How did he blaspheme? Oh, Sunday is the Sabbath. Every day, any day is the Sabbath day. You don't know whether the Sabbath day is on Monday. Oh, I can pick a day to have a Sabbath. All kind of excuses, sisters and brothers. When you say that the Sabbath day is on the 7th day of the week, Saturday, they got every excuse known to man, sisters and brothers. But that is blasphemy. That is blasphemy. The Lord told you to keep his Passover. But no, this man tell you to take communion every Sunday, every first Sunday, or every other Sunday. Go ahead.
And it was given unto him to make war with the saints and to overcome them.
Wait a minute. He was given, what did he say? He said, and it was given to him to make war with the saints, sisters and brothers. If it was given to him to make war with the saints, then why is it that you think the saints are going to be raptured off somewhere? No, the saints going to be right here. If they don't make it to the wilderness, this man is going to be persecuting them. Go ahead.
And power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations.
Go ahead.
And that all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names were not written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world.
Oh, so your name is not written in the book of life, sisters and brothers, if you worship this man, or if you worship his image. Not only that, sisters and brothers, anything or everything you do, everything the Roman Empire told you to do, everything the Pope told you to do, you are doing it. You're doing it. They must got their own 10 Commandments, sisters and brothers. They didn't revamp the 10 Commandments back in year 2022. They didn't revamp the whole commandments. God ain't spoken nowhere. And that is the ultimate blasphemy, sisters and brothers. But you're doing everything this man told you to do. I don't care. You can be any kind of denomination, Baptist, Methodist, New Age, whatever you want to be, sisters and brothers. But guess what? If you're not in this word, if you're not part of the Commonwealth of Israel, sisters and brothers, guess what? You don't have nothing coming. And your name was not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world. Skip down to verse 13 and go ahead.
And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men.
Oh, He did this before in Job chapter 1. He made fire come out of heaven, sisters and brothers, and burnt up Job's stuff. He's going to do the same thing. And you going to walk up there, oh man, this man is for God, for real. Man, he made fire come out of heaven. Guess what? Your name ain't written in the book. Go ahead.
And deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword and did live.
This man gonna do a magic trick, just like these folks right here in church. They doing magic tricks, and all of a sudden you're gonna believe, oh, this soul is the man of God. Oh, look how he's speaking in tongues. Look at it. Oh, he sure is the man of God now. Sisters and brothers, this man is gonna have you fooled if you do not know the word of the Lord. Go ahead.
And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many would not worship the image of the beast should be killed.
Go ahead.
And he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or their forehead.
Go ahead.
And that no man might buy or sell, save that he had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name.
You ain't gonna get no more food stamps. You better take that mark. Oh, you better do this. I got stuff popping up on my phone all the time talking about, the government giving out $5,000. You better get it. Come on, sisters and brothers. You can't be that money hungry. That means you don't have no faith. But sisters and brothers, I'm going to tell you, it is going to be a time. I can't much imagine a time like that, sisters and brothers. I just don't want to be wrapped up in it. Because a lot of people you can't even much handle what's going on today. Just imagine what's going to happen if you have to live to see this stuff. Let's go to Second Thessalonians chapter 2. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. Because I wonder why they don't teach. They teach all the rest of Paul's writing. Why they don't teach this? 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. Talking about the Lord can come at any time. No, the Lord cannot come at any time. Prophecy tells you around when the Lord comes back. Prophecy tells you that. The Lord gives, he's going to come with some destruction, sisters and brothers, but before he come and destroy, he go and he warns. He warned the people. Why? So you can save yourself. If you don't have no knowledge of the book, sisters and brothers, you can't save yourself. That was knowledge mean. Knowledge mean to know how. You know how to do something. But if you don't know how to do it, if you don't know how to save yourself, sisters and brothers, from the time, guess what? You're going to be caught in it. You're going to be sitting up there looking at the sky, thinking you're going to float up in the sky. No, you're not. This man is going to be hunting your head. Pick this up at verse 1 and go ahead.
Now we beseech you, brethren, by the coming of our Lord Jesus Christ and by our gathering together unto him.
Go ahead.
That ye be not soon shaken in mind or be troubled, neither by the Spirit, nor by the word, or by the letter from us, as that the day of Christ is at hand.
Go ahead.
Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. The
son of perdition. That man of sin, sisters and brothers, the abomination of desolation, he had not been revealed yet. But when he revealed himself, sisters and brothers, you got to realize, or you got to recognize who he is. If you don't recognize who he is, then news flash come on your screen, you're just going to say, oh, just another news flash. You ain't going to know what that man doing. But the ones who know about him, they'll be like, man, I got to pack. I got to go. I got to catch the first thing smoking. Keep reading.
Who opposes and exalted himself above all that is called God, or that is worshipped, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God.
That's what he's going to do. He's going to go and they're going to install this man. Go ahead.
Remember ye not that when I was yet with you, I told you these things?
Mm-hmm.
And now you know what withholdeth, that he might be revealed in his time.
Go ahead.
For the mystery of iniquity doth already work.
Paul said the mystery of iniquity already working. Why? Because he He already knew, sisters and brothers, the Roman Empire was in power even when Paul was writing this. But go ahead.
Only he who now lays will let until he be taken out of the way. And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. Even him who cometh is after the working of Satan with all power and signs and lying wonders.
This man gonna have all power, signs and lying wonders. Sisters and brothers, the Lord say the evil and adulterous seeketh after a sign. So why should you say, or why should you teach, or why should you preach that you got to show signs? Signs got to follow you when you got the Holy Ghost. Sisters and brothers, that is a setup. This man can easily come and make a dove fly out of his hand, and then you're going to be like, oh, that's a God. Go ahead.
And with all deceivableness of the unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved.
You have to receive the love of the truth. What? That you might be saved. Go ahead.
And for this cause, God shall send them strong delusion that they should believe a lie.
Lord gonna take his hand off your, okay, you want to believe that? Go ahead. Go. I'm gonna have you in delusion. Go ahead.
That they all might be damned who believe not the truth, but had pleasure in unrighteousness.
So you will be damned, sisters and brothers, if you do not receive the love of the truth. Love don't always feel good, sisters and brothers. And this word, sisters and brothers, this word being taught to you, that is love. Why? Because this thing is going to happen. Everything that is said that was going to happen has happened in the past. You can read it in history. Pick up the history books. And that's what got me. My thing was, that's what sold me on the truth, sisters and brothers, because the Bible is the only Bible on this planet that has told you events that is going to happen, and they wrote them down thousands of years before it happened. That sold me. Daniel was writing about some stuff, sisters and brothers, that was beyond his time. Daniel wasn't around when the Greek Empire hit. He wasn't around when the Roman Empire took over. But he wrote about it. That sold me, sisters and brothers. And that right there, that humbled me. That I received the love of the truth. And now I'm teaching. And I'm teaching you. And hopefully you receive the love of the truth, sisters and brothers. And you have got some kind of understanding out this class. And I thank you for your time, sisters and brothers. And we're going to have class this coming Sabbath at 12 o'clock noon. 12 o'clock noon, sisters and brothers. So I'll see you then.